Welcome to the Clock Hour. I'm back again. I know I took a little hiatus, personal reasons and whatnot, and I'm here with a couple of very special guests. I always call everybody special because you are. Miss Staci, and I got my man Ronnie back again. Both of them were here before, but the message is a little different now, so I figure I'll pull them back in so they can talk about what they have going on. But I'm gonna start off with Miss Staci first. Miss Staci, how you doing?
I'm well,
First
thank
of
you.
all, and what you got going on? I know there's an event coming up here soon.
Yeah, yes.
What is that, next week?
The week after, the 27th,
Okay.
April 27th at the PAL.
Okay.
We're doing an all-women's reentry resource fair for women coming home from incarceration, and we're just, celebrating the fact that they're coming home and having a second chance at getting it together, and just celebrating women in the entirety and making sure that they know what's available to them in this city.
So y'all do link them to the resources.
Definitely.
That's good.
Definitely.
And coming from the prison system, working as a staff, I used to sit people down before they left and pull up everything that I could possibly pull up on the internet. Yeah, because my thing was, if you work for me, you're not coming back.
Right.
So I used to give them a stack of papers. Now go home and go get it.
Just go
Most
get
of
it.
my people are successful.
I
Go home
believe
and
it.
get it.
Those that
You
want
know?
is gonna go for
That's
it.
right. Because a lot of times, back in the days, they used to get frustrated, that stigma, felon.
The Scarlet Letter.
Right.
Yep.
I know people that are fighting to get that off the application. Are you a felon? Check yes or no. They're fighting to get that off the application. When Obama was in office, they were fighting for that.
Right.
So they're still fighting that good fight. I'm supportive of it because I think the system is geared towards black and brown people.
Agreed.
It is what it is.
And I worked in the state of Georgia, black and brown people. I came up here, I worked for the federal system, black and brown people.
Yep. The highest incarceration rates.
Right.
Yep.
Halfway
Yep.
house, black and brown
Yep.
people. But, the resources. The resources is key because a lot of times I tell people it's not placed on a billboard where they can see it. There was no access. But
Right.
what y'all doing is giving them the resources.
Right.
That's good.
Because even for me, when I was younger, I wasn't incarcerated, but I was a single mom, and I was a teen mom, and I didn't even know about the resources that I'm aware of now. And there's so much more now than it was back then. But it's available to us, but I really believe that the community, some people don't want us to know it's there because then we're gonna go for it,
Right.
But that's why we're here. So her time is here for that sole purpose because we actually put those resources in the room with you.
Right.
So if you're sitting next to me and you're saying you're having housing issues or DV issues or whatever it may be across the board, we're always gonna have someone in that room right next to you.
Right.
You never know, you're looking to your left and saying, oh, you're right, and you're saying, well, wow, they're right here. So instead of sitting on that phone, like I said before, and you're waiting for someone to call you back or putting you on hold for 20 minutes listening to elevator music, you're getting your questions answered right then and there.
Right.
You're
And,
making
and
connections.
what's funny too is when you take a look at our circle with the village,
It's a little of
we're
everybody.
connected to a lot of different
Yes, we're
things.
everybody.
Yeah, and which is a beautiful thing.
Yep.
That's why I kind of turn certain things off. Like I have no problem with following.
Right.
As long as you driving me in the right direction, I'll get in the car with you.
Right.
Not a problem.
As long as there's a positive destination, I'm
Right.
with you. We
There you
riding
go.
out.
I'm getting in the car. You know what I mean? I've been rocking with Ronnie for a few years. And he's like, come on up here.
Our brother village.
I'm like,
Yep.
okay, all right, okay. And I always looked at his unlearn, relearn thing. And I'm like, okay, all right, okay. At first I was scratching my head. I said, can I turn off a lot of that stuff that I have learned?
No, I don't think so.
I had to tell the meeting again.
Right.
Somebody said, "Oh, well, you can't unlearn," and I'm not saying unlearn. Okay, example.
I always bring you back to it. That's my
exactly,
thing, man.
exactly. It's like this: Christopher Columbus didn't discover America.
Right.
Unlearn that, and what I mean by unlearn is saying like, look, that's not true. I'm just saying stop
Right.
following the lies.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I say, yo, unlearn that aspect of it. I'm not saying forget it. No, just unlearn that, saying that that was the truth, and then seek out or find out what it really is.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So now it's all documented what he really, what happened and stuff like that. So I said unlearn that because we all been lied to. Ever since this country is based on lies.
Right.
When people talk about this like a good, it's a great country, whatever. I said, but yeah, but the foundation is tainted. It was founded on robbery, thievery, and rape. Let's keep it. See, I make people get uncomfortable because that's the only way you're gonna really feel something.
Right.
When you're comfortable in these lies, then then you're gonna keep following. I said, all I want is the truth, the whole truth, not but the truth, as close as possible. But I know my spirit is talking. So I'm not gonna go against my spirit, never ever again, because like I said, I knew some things, I just didn't know things.
You ever hear, not to cut you off, you ever hear a real native person speak about Columbus?
What you mean?
When they speak about him.
Oh, I mean,
it's like even around Columbus Day. When you hear some of them speak about him, you'll be like, whoa. And then even when you're looking back at history, there's a book called The People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn. If you ever get a chance, or anybody watching this ever get a chance, pick that book up, because he gives the people's interpretation of history. Like coming from when they were helping the pilgrims, because the pilgrims were starving. So what do you think they were eating? Come on, one guess. One guess. What do you think they were eating? you know how they actually, on TV they showed us, there you go.
Cannibalism.
Cannibalism. Where it come from? Them. So he speaks about that because they were starving. If it wasn't for the native people of this land, whatever they look like, they done cut off part of the Grand Canyon to hide some of the troops.
Yes.
Don't get me started.
I'm going what I've seen, and
and what we knowing. And look at, if you think about it, look at the weather patterns now. All of a sudden, they got more water than you can think. Before, you used to have a song, they don't even rain in sunny California. Sunny California.
Now it's raining
But
everywhere.
but the crazy thing is when the levels start going low, you start seeing things.
Right.
And so now what was going on? The weather patterns going on. And I told you, when you
found
start
new
talking,
caves and everything.
when you start talking, the first thing is you sound crazy. But is it really crazy? You watch all these sci-fi movies, you watch all these superhero movies, you watch all this stuff, and you think like, what? It can't be real.
No, I think those TV shows are actually fair warning.
They
And they're just saying those who ain't seeing it and understand it ain't going to catch
Exactly.
it.
There's another book that says if you really want to know the truth, look to Hollywood. Hollywood puts the truth in your face.
Yes.
It's whether you're reading into it or not.
I try to tell people. Prime example. What's that movie that came out with the Obamas? What they produced it? Leave the World Behind. You see all the stuff that was in that movie. If you really got a conscious mind, you just sit back and you watch it. And you see a whole bunch of stuff. They had a shirt. The kid had a shirt on with Obama on it, face of Obama, but it says obey. What is that telling you? It's like they slick talking in there. And guess what? A new movie's coming out. It's coming out soon.
Yeah, that's about the
Civil
War.
War.
Right.
A civil
I
war.
forget what it's called, but it's a civil war.
Yep, it's called Civil War.
Yeah.
So they got to throw it in our faces so we can process it, so they can do what they want to do. It's going to happen.
It's been signs of things since we were children.
but I told
that's why they call it television programming, though. It's like it's mental conditioning through the TV.
Yep,
Even
exactly.
through conversation, even through music. There's always some type of
Yeah. I mean,
mental
frequencies
control.
and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
the deep
even
bass
vibration in music.
Yep.
It's always different things.
Because we're built on energy. People don't even understand that.
yeah.
You look at it as like, well, we're energy. And like I said, when you start knowing our what we're made out, we're made out of the universe. carbon, oxygen, nitrogen. I told people, I said, yo, just learn a few things. All I keep telling people.
Shoot, Erica
make
Badu
it
was
make
trying
sense.
to tell us back then.
Yep, exactly.
She was telling
Yep.
nobody listen.
Speaking of that, so,
Yeah.
you know, somebody was talking about the people that she ended up, the guys that she ended up messing with.
They in a trance.
They turn out strange.
Yeah, they in a trance.
That's what that is.
Yeah. Oh, I read up on
Somebody
that.
was like, "I'm scared of that."
Wait, because I was looking at it.
I would
said,
be.
wait, look, I said, wait a minute, let me find out I got a little bit of Baduism in me. I was like,
Right.
wait a minute.
But
like,
what
wait,
it is too is like Malcolm X said it. He said if you tell people the truth, all the truth at once, it can enough to drive you crazy.
Got spoon feed it.
And when she started dropping all that knowledge on them, yo, it's hard to take in sometimes. But I said, you know what? How you take that intake? You take it in with God. You take it out with a higher being, because the fact that energy, it's what's feeding you. So you have to, you know, really like tune out a lot of other stuff and really tune yourself. And that's what we was talking about last night, because
Right.
it was deep, and I appreciate that.
Because you know me. I
Yeah.
mean, my thing is, we speak of God and religion, but in certain cases, they tell you, like I was a recruiter. I couldn't discuss people's religions and stuff like that. Like I worked at the federal prison, and then I worked in food service. I did the majority of everybody's celebratory meals, from
Ramadan.
Santeria, the Ramadan. The Muslims called me. They called for me. They said, "Well, we want OG to handle it," you know. And I handled it. I did the Wiccans. I did everybody.
Really?
The first Santeria meal in Danbury was done by me.
That didn't scare you?
I
I don't even
why?
want to touch the food because
Well,
it's not
the thing
food,
about it
it's
is
just,
the,
I don't know if they trust me to touch
when
their
you
food.
look at when you look at everything starts out with good. So with the Santeria thing, there's good and then there's bad.
Yeah.
Like I knew this
Yoruba.
Cuban young lady that she always kept a little red feather in her hair. And I was like, what's that for? I'm asking questions. Like Judaism. Judaism is a religion. People that study Judaism, they're Jewish.
Right.
Why do they treat it like it's a nationality then? It's not a nationality. That's a religion. Like you can become a Jew, right?
Yeah.
Sammy Davis Jr. practiced Judaism. He was a Jew.
But that's why they're called Jewish.
Jewish.
Exactly.
There you
Kinda
go.
like.
Exactly.
It's the
also,
part.
But when it
also,
comes
too-
down to it, like what we was talking about yesterday, I don't, you know, I don't play with religion. I don't at all.
At all.
But
That's a dangerous thing.
You know, understanding everybody's background and beliefs and
Right.
whatnot, it takes you
See,
where
but I
you
keep
need to
telling
be.
people, you know, okay, I'm not religious.
I'm
I'm
spiritual,
spiritual.
definitely.
But it is like this. All these religions are man-made. So I'm not going to even follow that, because the fact is, it's like what they made up. And it's, you know, you just see the paper of all the men that made up the religion, like Jehovah's Witness and all that. That's all man-made.
Yeah, of
That don't have nothing to do with God.
It does.
Not in that sense,
Because at the
no.
individual, when you sit there, the reason why I'm saying this, I beg
Right.
to differ, but I'm never going to tell you you're wrong.
Okay.
I'm saying this because once I had my son when I was 18, and I was raised Baptist, you know, in Stratford with my family. And growing up, I always had questions like, well, who's this person? And where's this air coming from? And what's, you know, I'm always one of those people, even as a kid, they'll be like, don't open that, there's juice in that. So I have to cut it open to find out what it is.
Right.
I like
And
that
me, I like to dig deep. So I sat down with a few people. I've studied, you know, the Quran. I've studied African spirituality. I've studied Adventist. Like I studied Jehovah's Witness. I did those things with different people because I wanted to know the truth. You can't spoon feed me anything and tell me to swallow.
Right.
So I had to find out exactly what it is. So I landed on being spiritual, because I know there's something higher than myself. I know there's a higher power. I know there's the Most High. So my thing is now, do I go to church? Sure I do, because the word is there. Respectfully to others, is the book plagiarized? Definitely, because you can't write somebody's story 10,000 times over. But at the same time, there is one truth. But it's your business to do that. So when about 2013, I had my feelings about men and, you know, how they treat us as colored women and different things. And someone said, why do you look at your own people like that? I said, because if you know where we came from, the things that we're going through, why would you continue to behave the way they want you to? So
True.
me wanting to know better and getting in tune with myself and learning how to respect my husband and my son differently, which brings into spirituality, I ended up digging deeper. So I watched Hidden Colors
Yeah.
through and through. I sat down, started digging through that. Then my brother Jew and all them other ones, they were sitting down, they were starting to read, and I had questions. And then I ended up finding myself reading the Bible from front to back. And then someone said, read it back to front. Then I ended up pulling out the Book of the Dead, which is the Egyptian Bible. Then I ended up pulling out the Book of the Living. I had to actually cross-reference everything to make sure I know what I'm speaking on so I could teach my kids properly. And I landed here. So now I do know better, but everybody's not going to do that. And like they said,
Right, but
the answers are in the book, but you can't get a black person to sit down and open one.
Right, but also too,
You're
it's like even though you can read things 100 times and things, but you know what though, if you were like really in tune with yourself, as like really digging deep within yourself, your spirit's gonna say, you know, even though you read that, what is your spirit's feeling? Because what it is with me when I was younger, I knew but I didn't know. So in other words, my spirit was fighting with my mind, and my heart was caught in the middle. It was a lot of chaos.
But then how did you find the answers to all of those things?
Right, and so now like my heart, my spirit, and my mind is all in line. So I'm seeing more. So like I said, when I'm reading, when somebody's talking, I'm feeling things. So it's like my spirit is a detector. So you know what I'm saying? So you could tell me 100 things.
Your frequency.
It's what I want to feel. So like I said, so people just with the religions and everything.
But now you have to research what you're feeling, though.
Exactly.
You can have these feelings, but you're not going to understand what you're feeling until you research those
Exactly.
feelings.
And like
so it's still in the book.
And that's
Still
what I'm
in the
saying. But it's still, like I said, but it's also like, you know, it's the journey too, as like, you know, just really find out. But I'm telling you, everything is starting to add up. It's starting to, the dots are getting connected. And now it's like, so I'm saying, that's why I'm feeling good about how things are going, as in like how where I'm at. So when people say, "Oh, how you believe," but you know, I don't believe it. That's you.
That's you.
But like everything is coming. If you just sit, you stand back and you look and you see how things are really playing out, then you're seeing like, okay, this is what's really going on. But it really comes from within. And like I said, when people talking about, you know, God is God that, but
There's a word for that. What is that? There's a word.
For what?
Discernment? That's the word for it? Okay.
Discernment. Yep.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, those feelings that you're having, those are energies of discernment. So that you're sitting there like when me at the gate, I've been having these feelings since I was 10 at the gate. I know when someone's not going to make it with me. I could look at them, I'll feel it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go this way. And they be like, why you don't like her? I never said I don't like this person. It's more or less our energies just don't match.
Exactly.
We just
And
don't
it's
match.
about energy. It seems-
And
like I said,
it's not a problem. It's just
because it makes you sound like you weird when you talk about frequencies and you know, there's a whole bunch of things like you were saying, like frequencies and how you like you inside and stuff. And
but that's
like,
part of our being,
right?
Our electricity within ourselves.
Exactly.
So now, when you turn on the radio and you ain't got the right power, you know, when you're wrong, that one little, you ever turn on the radio and you move it to the left just a little bit or to the right, and you get that signal.
Yeah.
The station come through all clear.
Right.
Remember back in the day, we used to try to turn on Hot 97.1. We went here in New York.
Right.
But we
Well,
in Connecticut, so we got to move it over a
Now
little
it's
bit.
really BLS. But.
Right. That's like we was talking about death yesterday. And I said, that's the shell that's sitting there that we're looking at, you know, at funerals and so forth, that shell.
Your host.
What was there, that ball of energy, that spirit?
Yep.
We don't know what it looks like. We don't know what it feels like. We know it.
I see it like light coming out of dark.
You think?
Definitely.
Why?
Because I feel like being here, and from what I've researched, being here, we've come to a place of darkness. Like,
But-
this is all just,
Who tells you that? How can a book tell you? Somebody wrote that? Somebody's came back to life and told you what it feels like, what it is, and, you know, dissected and told you what it was? I don't get it.
I think, well, for me, I've learned these things by realizing what we're made of. Everybody will say a black person speaks on who they are, and the first thing they say is, oh, I'm African, I'm this, I'm that. And all of us didn't come from Africa. So then I said, let me dig a little deeper. Where do I actually come from of my
I was born in
creation, my
Woodland.
making?
Right.
What makes me? You know how they say we're 3/4 water, so like I have to know exactly what I am. So me doing that.
666 too.
Yes,
So
it is.
science,
Yeah.
science
Yeah.
can, science is still by
We're
man.
energy. Not necessarily.
It's by man.
If you go a little further than
Man
that,
is interpreting it.
they're interpreting it.
They
I don't think they're
interpreting it, but
creating
it ain't saying what it
Because
is.
when you go back to it even deeper, now think about it. Science actually started in Egypt as well.
Egypt, yes.
You know, so
And then the Greeks took it.
there you go.
Where do you think superheroes came from?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I
That
get
brings
it.
us back to the
Well,
whole Yoruba
yeah.
thing too.
So-
See, and that's what I'm saying. I had questions.
That's why I question it.
Right. I say I
Like-
question like pyramids. I say this. I look at it like, okay, the way the pyramids were made, you ain't gonna tell me it was the slaves and ropes putting in place
Look,
tons of rock to almost precise.
Eddie Griffin said from top to bottom.
I say go and check it out. I plan to. I got to
Yeah.
see it from. I want to touch it. I need
Right.
to see it.
Now think about it.
I got questions.
Top to bottom,
That's it.
it's weird.
Yeah.
When he said it, I was like, wait a minute. And it kind of makes sense, but it really doesn't. The size of the stones. I mean, there's like a whole slew of questions.
But they created
And
their own
answer.
machinery and tools and stuff also. Remember?
Right, right.
So, yeah.
And
But
even
see,
if-
I believe in UFOs and aliens and stuff.
Definitely.
I'm not going to
Right. It's interpreted.
People look at me like I'm crazy for that.
No, but it's interpreted wrong. But it is though.
Yeah.
Just like when they say like they have to tell you, put in place. The fable, and I looked at it, I'm like, holy crap. Jack and the Beanstalk. I was like,
Giants.
by a giant, but if you look at some of the places, like even what's the movie Close Encounter of the Third Kind? What was the place? Devil's Tower or the
Devil's something, Devil's
I didn't
Peak
see
or
that.
something.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking
Do
about.
you know that crazy? When they take an overhead picture of it,
Yeah.
it was like a tree, like
Yeah.
the root of a tree, and how
Right.
big trees. And it's so much stuff that we don't get, but it's like
Right.
it's interpreted in another way.
Well-
But it's like they still telling us, but we just they try to Jedi mind trick us. You know what I'm saying? And It's
But
'cause
like Unc said, though, when he was saying about the aliens, I said I agree, but we keep calling them. Okay, so me researching again.
Right.
When they kept saying about the giants and the aliens and stuff like that, what was that? Was that New York or somewhere else? Miami, maybe? When they were saying that they spotted these.
Recently?
Yeah.
Yeah, Miami.
Miami. Remember they kept saying that they seen these big giant people walking across the highways and near the mall and
Yeah.
stuff. And I said, I believe. And they were like, oh, those are theories. Da, da, da. And I said, no, I believe it because I believe those are Nephilim.
And then you
we,
gotta get.
we would be arrogant to think that we were the only beings in
Thank
this
you.
universe.
Thank you.
And I argue with people about it. I said, man, listen.
There's a world beyond us.
I done seen some stuff. I ain't seen no beings, but I done seen a couple of things that I could not explain. How am I explaining? And then your gut, you get that gut
Yeah.
inner feeling like you need to run.
Right.
Or run and go hide and look out the window or
Right.
something.
And you know what's funny? Because depending on who's looking at it, right?
Right.
Like you said, everybody got different religions and spiritualities, whatever. So now it all boils down to all of us having the same one belief in the end. So when everybody kept saying that they seen these giants, so some people that don't have a spiritual relationship or whatever,
Right.
they'll say, those are aliens, those are giants. To me, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, those are Nephilims.
They
out
know
here-
what they saw
out here
down
playing,
there.
They're out here playing with this voodoo and all these different. Everybody's out here playing with all these different religions, and not
right.
knowing what they touching on. They over here open up portals.
Right.
So now you're letting out that other world, like you spoke of. So when they're looking at the Nephilims. Remember, the Nephilims were the angels of children of the angels that was having sex
Right.
on
That-
earth.
Exactly.
With the,
Remember?
with the women.
right.
Yeah, I
Yes.
know what you're talking
I think it was
about.
Moses' daughters.
Right.
So there you go. Yeah.
There we go. See?
See, we came all the way back around.
Right.
But they hushed that up very
Oh
quickly.
yeah.
Yeah, them people know what they
A lot
see.
of our
Shut that
history
down.
is-
They say, oh, you over here, y'all overthinking it. No, no, no.
The Catholic Church got a lot of our stuff in them vaults down there.
At the Vatican?
Yep.
They don't got the actual book of that one and only book from Egypt, the Book of the
Ethiopia.
Dead.
Yep.
Right.
Why does he have it? Why does the Pope have that book? That's where the
I
answers
don't know.
are.
Did you see the Pope?
It makes you think about the Book of Eli. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Book
why.
of Eli was
This
dope.
they're telling, like you said, TV's telling it. This, I'm like, he got the book. Remember? Yeah.
Right.
Now, it's
I'm
deep,
really
and
wanna
like
go
I said,
home and read.
and like I said,
We
it's-
could go on for
it's
days
hard.
on
It's
this.
hard though. I mean, because it's like because by us saying whatever, we get it, but some people look, man, they crazy as hell. What the
No,
hell?
you
See,
ain't.
because like I said, they don't understand. But now I'm
they're the ones that are
I'm in my
uninformed.
frame where what you don't, that's on you. I'm gonna keep putting out information. I'm not gonna be like one of the. Cause they want you to be quiet. They don't want you to tell what's going on. So
You know what? After you look past,
3.
you look past everything on the surface that, like you said, they're feeding you, spoon feeding you. Once you start looking past that, it puts you in a better space anyway. You know, that's one thing why I always wore dark shades. So that way I could see you before you see me. And then I can actually analyze what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And if it ain't right,
And also, you get to protect your eye gate.
Yeah.
Because you got to be careful what you take in through
yeah,
your
the
eyes.
eyes
and
are the
ears
windows
anyway.
of your
Yeah.
soul. But I want to thank y'all for coming on. And this was an incredible conversation. We were kind of all over the place, but we went back
It was
to where
fun.
we started.
Yeah, it was
And
fun.
that's what I like to bring out, just to let people know that we're available for conversation anytime, anywhere. You know, anybody want to come on the show, holla at me. I went to Maja's for my sandwich this morning. As always, I got to shout them out. Them girls are
Where that
incredible.
at?
It's two twins on Thomaston Avenue.
I'm
Maja's.
about to go try
Yeah,
it.
they do breakfast and lunch. They're good. Yeah.
Thanks for
So
telling me.
and shout out to the village. The skate
Yes.
thing, it went very well.
Yes,
and,
congratulations,
I look forward to
Staci.
another one, and let's go.
Telling you, these kids are our future.
Right. Like
You know,
I said.
and when they see us being engaged with them, they're gonna try harder. When they see that we don't like care about them, we just like they don't have security, because what it is like out here in these streets are the wolves.
Right.
So we need to protect them.
Right. All right. Like I said, always for the people, by the people, about the people. Till next time. Peace.
That was cute.